How does it feel to be an HC in the league? Just to take a second. I know you're getting ready for your first preseason game. You're in the midst of everything going on, but does it hit you at any point in time here, Coach?
Actually, it was a pretty cool moment the other night. We had the scrimmage in the
Right.
stadium the other night,
Right.
and my dad had an opportunity to walk in the coach's locker room with us and into that area where I have my own office, obviously in the locker room. And he just kind of had a moment where he's like, "Man, how cool is this? I'm really proud of you." And that was just one of those moments that you don't take those moments very often, especially at this point where you haven't gone and won a game. You haven't really done anything to truly prove it yet. But ultimately, it was a cool moment between a father and a son, and ultimately a guy that coached me my entire life. So that was a really cool moment.
Yeah, not bad for a Rhode Island kid, huh? Right there in Florida, right there in Central
That's right.
Florida. How did you get started in coaching? How did this all get
Yeah.
rolling for you?
So my grandfather was a coach. He was at Brown University. Gosh, I don't know what the years were, but my dad was a Division III college head coach at Salve Regina. He started that program in '92 in a small school in Rhode Island. He was a high school coach my entire life as well. And so once the playing days were over at UMass, ended up getting a great opportunity. Mark Whipple actually made a phone call to Phil Estes, who was the head coach at Brown University at the time. And I was able to get an entry-level position coaching the quarterbacks. I think making about $15,000, no benefits, and
Mm.
you're getting coffee, you're the video coordinator, you're coaching the quarterbacks, you're doing all the grunt work, and ultimately that's the start of it all. And I kind of bounced around in the Northeast there and FCS schools and got the opportunity to go to the Rams in 2018 to be with Sean.
Yeah, I guess how much of McVay is in you, Liam? Because he's got a heck of a coaching tree for somebody who's not even 40 yet, right? So I'm just wondering how, because again, James Gladstone's now the GM there. There's a lot of Rams going on there in Jaguar country right now.
Yeah, Sean made such an impact on me. Still does to this day
Mm.
with the conversations that we had, really going throughout this process, throughout the season last year in Tampa, but also throughout the head coaching search, the process. So much of our culture and so much of the things that we end up doing here, in terms of the way that we want to communicate with each other, the respect that we have between player to coach, coach to player, staff to staff, everybody in the building. A lot of that comes from Sean and from the building that I was in LA for 2018, really through 2020, was one of the more infectious buildings I've ever been in. And Sean, he has that ability to elevate people with his presence, with his energy, with his words. And that was something at my first few years in LA that I felt from him was, man, you don't do this to get a pat on the back as a coach, right? You do your job, you kind of stay in your lane, and you put your head down and work. And he kind of showed a different side of the person of being a coach, and how we can kind of connect with people, both your staff, your players, everybody in the building in a different way. And it kind of opened my eyes to say, man, like, we can say we appreciate one another. We can say you're doing a great job. And all it did was make me want to work harder for him. And that was pretty sustained throughout my time with him.